Hi everyone, this is Holly from Hot Humble Pie. Welcome to my Christmas series. For this craft, you just Google Christmas stocking pattern or drawing or anything like that, and a bunch of stuff will come up for you. And I printed this one up. It wasn't quite long enough, so as you notice there, I left the paper a little bit longer because I'm going to make my stocking a little bit longer. I'm using this red ticking stripe material that I got from Amazon. I found out it was actually from Hobby Lobby. Someone was selling it on Amazon, but it is getting harder and harder to find. The one I bought is sold out, but they have one that's almost identical, and I left the link down below in my description box if you're looking for it too. You can also paint the red stripes on the thin like muslin-like material that the Dollar Tree sells. If you have time, just tape it off. You can get some faux ticking stripe going there. And I'm using my hot glue just to glue it together. I want mine to have a little thicker top there, so I'm giving it a little bit of a seam or a hem. And the hot glue is going to be fine. And I want mine to be vintage and look kind of old. I like it when the material frays a little bit on the end, so I am gluing it and not turning it inside out. I'm going to leave it just the way it is. I'm using some more of this Temu ribbon here that I got a big amount. I think it was like 12 yards for, they're lightning deals, so the price varies. That's why I don't leave the links for you guys. But definitely check out Temu for their crafting supplies, because when they have their sales or their lightning deals, they definitely beat the Dollar Tree, and they carry different things. That ribbon right there that you see, that trim with the leaves, I love that. That is so pretty, also from Temu. And I just glued that on the bottom there because I thought that looked really, really cute. I'm going to tie some twine and glue it up in the corner. That's what's going to hang it. And then during Valentine's time, well, not Valentine's Day, but around that time when Dollar Tree brings out their stuff, I collect stuff that looks like it could be used for Christmas, because my Dollar Trees are always late in bringing out their Christmas stuff. And so I get stuck having to, it's because I have to craft ahead here. I will not have anything. So I just grabbed that during Valentine's Day, and you guys might want to do the same. If you see things that look like a gift tag or any shapes that look like they might be for other seasons, it's a good idea to collect those ahead of time. Yes, I put way too much white paint on there. I'm just painting it with Apple Barrel acrylic white paint. I had to put some back in the tub, and I gave it a quick blow dry. I had a definite vision when I created this craft, and I absolutely love it. It came up, again, one of those crafts that came up better than what I thought. It's like I surprised myself. But I wanted to do like a vintage gift tag where the center was lighter and the edges were definitely darker. I'm going really slow here and doing it slowly, and I'm kind of patting on the antique wax. Well, first I streak it all over, and then I just pat it on the edge to make it cloudy and darker. Also, wax has this weird thing that as it dries, if you keep rubbing it, it will rub right off the paint. So if you want to keep applying layers, you're better off dabbing it at that point so you don't remove it from your craft. But I'm also just kind of testing the waters here and seeing how it looks. I keep looking at it and assessing what's going on. Add a little streaks here and there, but I love the way this turned out. It's perfect for what I was envisioning. And of course, I don't forget the edges. Next, I want to make a vintage sign to go with this craft. So I'm taking 3 of the paint sticks. I get the ones with the ends that aren't curved at the end of them so that I don't waste as much. And even though they're a little bit thinner, I just prefer that because otherwise the sticks are too short and it limits you on what you can make. And I'm just taking some craft sticks and gluing them on, and then I'm cutting them. And this is like a pruning shear, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It came in a tool set with the pink one there. I got about 7 different things at Walmart. It was a whole crafting kit. And I want the edges to look broken and old, like it's a very, very old sign. I'm really going hardcore for the vintage look right now. And so I'm just breaking it apart. And I do have to use a little muscle here, but I get it done. And of course, I'm going to file the edge to make it nice and smooth as well. Of course, I am using my trusty glue stick right here to put some glue on, and I'm going to glue this sign down that I found online. It came up under Vintage Christmas, under copyright free. So you can go ahead and well, I'll leave you a link to this one, but you can go ahead and look for any one you want on the Clip Art site. They have a lot of free vintage Merry Christmas words that you might like better. And I'm taking the burnt umber from Apple Barrel Paint, and I'm just going to distress this sign, to get it in a theme so everything looks nice and old. Next, I'm taking the color Walnut from the Furniture Pen. They carry them at Dollar Tree in a set of 3, and I'm going to go around and just edge my little stocking. I'm using some of this polyfill, but of course you can use an old pillow, the stuffing inside an old pillow, some old rags, even a plastic bag. Use your imagination, some cotton, anything. You don't need it very stuffed. I cut way more than I needed. I only ended up using a tiny, tiny amount, and I'm just going for the foot and a little bit up the ankle because I am going to be stuffing some greenery in here, some pine and some berries. Doesn't that look so pretty? But I feel like it's missing something, so I end up grabbing some of that red and white striped twine there, and I make a little bow and I glue it where the hanger is, and that's perfect. That's exactly what it was missing. So now I am using a thumb tack to tack this down. I tried a bunch of different things and I went with this one. I end up using a permanent marker because the Furniture Pen didn't work. I started off with that first, then I used black, and then I actually do grab some nutmeg paint. I don't show it here on film, but I do have to use some nutmeg paint from Apple Barrel. That's my favorite color for fake rust, by the way. I don't know. Somebody said they didn't know what faux meant, so I say faux and then fake too, but that's what it means. But I went ahead and I did do that a little bit. And as you can see, I am tacking the stocking down. I tack it at the foot, and you'll see me tack it up at the top later too because it needs that. And I'm using the Dollar Tree nautical rope here, and I do choose to use a staple gun. And luckily, the nautical rope is so thick that it didn't go through to the other side. It was just perfect. I still used hot glue, and I still put tape over that because I just think it's, just in case the staples come out, I won't get cut. And I'm gluing my sign on the top as well. You have to make sure you get that nice and even, so tape it first before you glue it. I learned the hard way. It kept, it was uneven, and I had to rip it off and do it again to get it even. So tape it first to make sure it's hanging even when you hang it on a wall. There's my second tack, and we're all done. For this next project, you're going to need 4 of these mirror windows from the Dollar Tree. And I just opened each one up, took the back out, took the mirror out, and then I'm left with those little black pieces right there. So I'm just using a screwdriver to take them out. You need a little tiny one. It's not a big deal. It goes really fast. Next, I took 5 of these little craft sticks or popsicle sticks, whatever you want to call them, and you need to make 4 sets of 5. So I'm gluing them together just like that, and I have 4 sets all together. After you take the screws out, you are left with this little plastic piece where the screws went, and it jots out. I didn't worry about the bottom ones in the 4 corners there because you're not going to see those if you put, decor into this. but I didn't want the side ones or the top one, and they were pretty straightforward. I just used a craft knife and kind of went along the edge and cut until I lifted them out, and then they just lifted right off and they were gone. And then whatever, I mean, you don't have to get it absolutely perfect, and you'll see why in a minute. Be careful you don't tear the plastic, of course, or cut through it. And then here you're going to take 2 of those frames and you're going to glue your craft sticks in them just like you saw on either side, just 2. Don't do it to all 4, you're only going to do it to 2. And then that's what you're going to use to glue. We're making a little winter lantern. I love this one. We're going to use those craft sticks to glue that together on the sides, because you can see it doesn't have like a solid frame on the inside, but I totally wanted to make a lantern out of this, so I took them home and I was going to make it work. Next, I'm taking some spackling and I'm going to mix a little bit of that with just plain white acrylic paint. And what we're going for here is a stucco effect. You'll see it in a minute here, because we definitely have to knock this up a notch and make it look a little bit more expensive, because otherwise it does look like plastic in real life. So I'm mixing my paint up with the spackling, and if you don't have this, you might have those spray paints that have the sand in them. You could do that instead and then paint it whatever color you wanted. And in a pinch, you can use baking soda, but you'd have to be really generous with your baking soda. Mix it into your paint until it looks really gritty like this. And I do mean generous, but you can get the same effect with baking soda. And then you're just going to more or less kind of tap it on, I guess. It's like a stippling type brushwork here, but you can see all the little like texture it's leaving behind. And this was kind of time consuming, but it came up so beautiful. I had to do the inside, and of course there's all those little crevices, and that's why it doesn't matter so much if you don't get the top and the sides perfect with the removal of those plastic pieces, because you're not going to see it anyway. But here it is when we're all done, and I think it came out so beautiful. So this next one can come in as a free DIY. You're going to take some cardboard. I'm using the inside of a foil. You know, your foil comes on that tube. They're always a lot thicker and stronger than the paper towel ones, so I save them. I'm using that like a rolling pin to roll this cardboard up and soften it. Now I chose cardboard instead of poster board because I wanted this to be heavier and more sturdy. So once you have that all rolled out, just start hot gluing it together. We're going to use some duct tape later too to reinforce this. And I'm just cutting a cone shape. Now it's still too tall, so I'm going to use the same trick I used last week for my bells. You just find a container that you want, you know, that will work for the height, however tall you want your tree to be, if that makes sense. And you put it upside down in there as centered as you can, and then you trace and you'll get a nice clean edge that way. So there is the inside cardboard here, which I chose not to cut out. I still want that in there because I add more hot glue. I just want this to be heavier and sturdier, and that helps add more weight. Next, I'm taking this foam. This is packing foam that came with something I bought from Amazon. I can't remember what it was, but I tend to keep almost everything because I always end up thinking of something I can make with it. And I'm just tracing out a leaf here. All I did was take a Dollar Tree leaf off one of the floral picks. It was the same ones I was using for the pumpkins, and I cut a bunch of leaf-shaped foam. Now, I didn't film this on camera, I did, but I lost the footage. This is a Dollar Tree little temporary planter thing that you can get during the summertime. I threw some rocks in there for weight, and I took a pool noodle and I cut it like a donut, and it's the perfect little circle. Then for my stake, I'm going to use as the trunk of this tree. And I also painted the foam black on top. I was actually making it for another project, and then I ended up saving it for this one. And I decided I wanted the bottom of this tree closed up and finished. So for this, I am using poster board. I'm just cutting out a circle. It's really self-explanatory here. I'm going to glue it underneath my tree. And then I'm also going to take some leftover craft paper that I used last week. I had some left, and I'm going to go ahead and cover the poster board with that to make it nice and pretty at the bottom of this tree. That's what it looks like when we're all done. And now I'm using the duct tape just to reinforce the seams for extra protection so it doesn't come apart in the future. This is a leftover piece from the Dollar Tree plunger that I saved, and I'm just staining it with some antique wax. You want to go darker with that for the trunk. And now I'm going to give the actual little tree form, the cone, a coat of white acrylic paint. You do have to blow dry it really thoroughly or wait for it to dry to make sure before you move on to trying to glue the foam on or it won't stick. And I am choosing to glue the trunk of the tree on first so that I will create a natural little stand to hold this tree up while I work on the rest of the tree. So I'm just starting now to glue the foam on. My hot glue gun is set on low heat so that I don't burn the foam. And I just cover the entire tree. That's it. And whenever I have little openings that, you see some of the cardboard sticking out, all you have to do is make another little leaf, cut it in half so you don't get too much bulk, and glue it in those areas. Now I'm giving this tree one coat of white acrylic paint. You'll see white on it if you look really close. I actually covered this in Mod Podge and then sprinkled baking soda on top of it, and I did not like it at all when it dried, so I just used my fingernails to crumble it off. Plus I found out it crumbles off. That's why I didn't like it. So don't do that. You definitely need to do paint first, and you definitely need to have something that's more flexible. Mod Podge is like a thin sheet of plastic, and so when you go to bend it, and foam does bend, it wants to crack off. So we went with the acrylic paint here, and that worked fine. And of course, natural snow does have a little bit of sparkle. I'm not a big glitter fan because the glitter is getting into the ocean and it is causing problems for our sea life because obviously they can't breathe with millions of particles of plastic floating around in the sea. So I try to avoid glitter. Make sure if you do sand glitter or anything like that, you put it in the trash and down in the landfill where it belongs. But I got a very fragile glitter that's actually like cosmetic glitter. So it's super, super small and delicate and perfect for my snow. I added some moss on the bottom of the pool noodle there to cover it, and then I added a Dollar Tree snowflake on the top. And when I show you the final reveal, I do try to catch the sparkle of the glitter, so I hope you guys can see how beautiful this came out. For this project, we're starting off with the Dollar Tree little pie tin there. You could make this actually an ornament because of the hanger, but I'm cutting the ends off and making them shorter because they were going to kind of get in the way of what I was doing. I'm using some paper I got from Temu, but I will have free printables down for you below because I've also made these kind of things and they are on my free printable website, so the links will be down there for you. And I'm just going to leave the entire site, the website, so that you can see all of the choices that you have, including all the vintage things. So this is also from Temu. It was a great deal. These were under $2, I think. Big package, came with a lot of choices, definitely going to last me for a while. And this is another one of their vintage Santas. I used it in my previous video right before this one, and I'm just cutting him out, and I just cut the little circle out. It was Joy to the World, it's lyrics. I thought that was cute. I'm going to use this glue stick and I'm gonna glue it down. That's it. Now the glue stick worked really good, just putting it straight down onto the pie tin. You didn't need to do your paper. Santa, I had to do the paper, so in that case you have to go carefully so you don't wrinkle them. I'm sure you guys know if you rub too hard you can wrinkle them. And you saw me take a tissue there and wipe off the excess dry glue from the glue stick that was oozing past the seams there. And this is sped up 5 times, but I'm going and putting a thin ribbon of hot glue around the edge here because I wanted to use this red and white twine. I thought that would make a super cute border for this picture, and I'm just taking my time. If you do this and you take your time, you will not see any hot glue over the edge of the twine. You just have to go slow. So I'm showing you up close here that I did decide, even though I had cut those shorter, they were still in the way. So I did decide to put a little bit of hot glue on each one of those and tuck them up on the top there so that they're tacked up to the pie pan and not hanging down anymore. I get a lot of questions about the pine that I'm using. All of the pine in this video is from Amazon. The links are down below in my description box. They're very good deals. And because I do craft before Dollar Tree brings out their Christmas stuff, I usually have to buy some things ahead of time. And so I try to look for competitive prices, and you get quite a bit for the price. And of course, they're much better quality looking, but it's close to Dollar Tree. However, last year they were definitely rocking the pine. The only thing I don't like is they usually put glitter on it, which is such a shame because the more expensive pine doesn't have glitter. But anyway, I just want to let you guys know where I got this from. I'm actually adding a burlap ribbon here. That's from Temu. They're very competitive right now with the Dollar Tree because I think I got 12 yards of that for about $1.50, so it was coming in much cheaper. And then I'm using the Dollar Tree ribbon on the top there. I love that one. I saved it for Christmas. I think they bring it out for like the 4th of July around, well, it was there at summertime. I'm showing you here that you can choose a snowflake if you want, but I had made a cutting board with this little candy, also from Temu, super cheap. And I decided to stay in a theme here. Thought that would be fun. And I'm just adding some florals, mostly just pine. I was going to put some boxwood in here and it was just too heavy for the tin, so I stayed with the little tiny bits of pine. And I want to say I don't use the big pieces, like right there, those pieces on the side. You'll see me just cut one off. That's all you need to make a big statement. You don't need to use big pieces off of your florals. You can certainly stretch those and make them go far. But that's pretty much it, and I love the way this guy came out. If you enjoyed today's video and you had fun, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel get seen here on YouTube. And as always, until the next video, breathe deep, fret not, and do things that make you happy.